Hey friends, Frankie and Brad here in the kitchen. Brad, the other day I was noticing that a lot of the young kids on YouTube are posting links talking about old men and the guitars they play, really talking shit about us old guys, particularly, the guitars that was in our generation like Fender, Gibson, and even today, Paul Reed Smith's. These guitars have become, quite frankly, they're so expensive that unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, or well established in income, they're pretty tough to obtain. Uh, so it gets to the point, dad guitars. Are they dad guitars? What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, they are. I mean, the younger generation, they're looking to identify with their own guitar. And frankly, Fender and Gibson have priced them out.
So true.
They need their own identity. That's why they're looking at other guitars. And there's so many guitar makers out there now, they're finding what they want in other guitars.
You're exactly right. I've noticed the market just in some of the inexpensive or I like to use the word affordable guitars because these are really high quality guitars and a great bang for the buck. In the higher end market, Schecters, these guitars, $15.99 out the door with whistles and bells, Substaniac systems, out of phase. Same way with Kiesel, a little more money with Kiesel, but great quality guitars. And then you've got Coit, Suhr, Harley Benton. They've changed the market. Harley Benton builds very, very inexpensive guitars at very good quality right out of the box. You can get one of these things $300 to $500. Firefly, another one. These are just some off the top of my head. That this is a Schecter that I picked up used for a little over $900. It plays great. It doesn't play anywhere near as good as these other guitars behind us, but good goddamn, it's a third of the price, and it has all the whistles and bells you need for a lot less money. This Gibson, it's an old V90, plays great. It's a little bit heavy, has a neck dive. Comparable, these guitars are very similar in playability, but this one would break the bank. And Brad, tell them about what you got over here.
I've got a 1961 SG and a custom-made Flying V. Now these guitars, the SG I actually retrieved from a friend's house. He found it in the attic. It looked like a guilted lover had taken an ice pick and literally picked the front of this guitar, and I had to have it refinished. He practically gave it to me. The Flying V I had made out of white ash. At the time that it was made, it was probably around 1800 with the case. But to buy any of these guitars today at that price is out the door.
All of these guitars you're looking at are probably upwards of $5,000, except for this one. You can buy these used just about any day of the week from $1,000, $1,200. Price has went up a little bit, but they fluctuate, and that's something to think about. Dad guitars, I heard a video just recently from one of the subscribers that I watch, a younger guy, and he made the statement that he feels strongly that when baby boomers like us die, Gibson and Fender are going to really be hurting.
Oh yeah.
And maybe even Paul Reed Smith. What do you think?
Yeah, what young people have to pay for rent alone, how could anybody afford a guitar?
Good point.
I think back to when I was young, I couldn't do it today. I don't know how any young people do it today. to buy a toy that you're gonna enjoy for, hopefully for life, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why I think they're looking at other avenues.
Yeah, that's true. Something that up until just the last few years, I don't think Gibson ever had a coil splitting for years. You know, we used to rewire them. I used to
Right.
rewire my pickups, cross tap them where they would, the middle position would be out of phase. But Gibson hasn't tended to follow the trend of stuff like building in preamps. The Substaniac, Shetner pretty much owns the market on Substaniacs, and that is a neat feature with a, when you use a Floyd Rose, a Substaniac's a nice feature, and you don't have to use it, you know, as well as 24 frets. This is a 24 fret Gibson. It is a Flying V90 and the 90 series, which they made in V's, Explorers, and SGs, were 24 fret that they made for 1.5 years only. And a lot of these guitars are hard to obtain, just about impossible to afford. And with the new market going on, there's a lot out there to compare to.
Yep, there is.
You know, just the other day, Brad, on some of the sites, they're talking about Gibson's come out with a phenomenal reissue of humbucker pickups for the small price of $999.99. Let's just call it $1,000. And for $1,000, you can be damn cool. You know, I wonder, is that just a little over the top?
A little, yes.
And you had mentioned pawn shops. What's your experience on them?
You can find some treasures at a pawn shop. Check every pawn shop you can, because the way things are today, people are hard up. They get into a bind where they need money fast. That guitar's going to the pawn shop, and if you're lucky enough to get there, you may find a treasure.
That's a good point. Again, you know, the young people today, they tend to be smarter shoppers than you and I were.
Yeah.
We kind of shop with our eyes, you know, not so much our experience. And
Right.
and I'd be lying if I told you that I hadn't bought many guitars I've never played. You know, you don't see young people doing that. Again, guys, we appreciate your time. Give us a thumbs up.
There's one other,
Yeah.
the Chinese market.
Oh yeah, that GH Gate or HG Gate. I can't remember. There's some amazing buys out there. You've actually
Yeah,
seen some
I
of
know
those.
someone who bought a Gibson Les Paul Jimmy Page model, absolutely gorgeous and plays great, for $350.
And you know, you own a lot of Gibsons. You own
Yes.
a bunch of Les Pauls, SGs. And you're not talking like somebody that's not experienced. You
No,
played Gibsons back in the '70s, and still own some of those
Yeah,
guitars.
actually these are Gibson bodies. They
Mhm.
got from Gibson, and they just refinished them, or they finish them at their plant in China, and they're a fraction of the cost.
We would never condone, you know, buying any bootleg guitars, but there are some guitars on the Chinese market that are other brand names that are worth checking out. I personally haven't seen any, but you can look around on YouTube. There's a lot of demos out there, and these things are really getting some hype.
Yeah.
But once again, guys, hey, thanks for tuning in. Brad and I will be back again next week talking more rock. Appreciate your time. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our site. And again, hey, thanks.
Thank you.